Hey, sometimes you get in the shop and tools break. I wasted a lot of time today with my compressor getting it to work right, but I got it fixed. And then once I got rolling on the Bel Air, we got some work done. So this week we tightened up the gap and the alignment between the front fender and the door. Got this fared in nicely. This is looking really good. Took a little bit of work to get here. If you're interested in seeing how we got this done, stay tuned. Who's good dogs? Good dogs want to go play? You want to go play? Huh? Let's go. Come on. All right, Josie, ready? Ready? Meanwhile, Deuce just sniffs. All right, put it down. Put it down. Ready? she loves playing. All right, now that the dogs are all played out, let's get back in the garage. So we're gonna continue working on Christine. In the last episode that I released, I was working on the front cap and I was trying to get everything realigned. I was fighting with the hood. Maybe the episode before that, I tacoed the hood, and I think I got it straight last week. But now I'm continuing on this front cap, but I didn't publish a video last week because I have been fighting with that compressor. And last weekend, despite my best attempts, it just kept stopping me and stopping me and stopping me. And I just didn't get a lot of good work out with that I could video. I did work by hand. I worked in this hood. I got it. I'll tell you about that later. But I'm about to put in my third check valve on that compressor. Tired of it. The first one, the original factory one, rusted out. The second one that I got from Grainger must have been defective. The third one, which is the same exact style and type that I got from Grainger, but it's packaged differently and set up a little bit differently. This is going to be the charm. Fingers crossed. Let me change that, and then we'll get to work in Christine. Well, it turns out I had a problem with my filter. This desiccant filter. The beads, I guess one of the times I serviced it, I must have pushed the beads into the filter, and the filter on the very top, there was a screen, it busted it, so I went and got a pond filter from the big box store and cut it out and put it in, and so now I think it's all good to go. But the other thing is, this thing had a lot of oxidation in it. It's aluminum, and all the inside was oxidized, so it was past all the filtration, so it was coming out, going straight into that check valve. So I think this will finally fix it. Let's do this, and please, let's get started working. Fingers crossed. Yay! Oh man, that's such a relief. I've been fighting it. I'm fighting it. Let's get to work on Christine. Gee whiz, man. All right, so finally we can get back to doing some work on Christine, documenting the work, and then showing you what the heck I've got going on. So the last few videos that I've got out there, one was on stiffening the hood. I'll put a link to that one up here. That's when I had to straighten this hood out. That was after I tacoed it. And then I think another video that I've got was on straightening out this fender, trying to get this fender together. When I put everything on here, I had the two fenders didn't align with the hood. So I had to fare in this curve that's just over this main hump here. So I've got this area that I had to align it with the hood, and I've got all that looking good. And what I did over the Memorial Day weekend and then following, when I was fighting that compressor, was I laid out a skim coat over the entire hood, and I got the entire hood flattened out. I had some oil canning in here and here that I had to take out. It's got some scars on the bottom, so I'm going to end up having to pull this hood off and then skim out the bottom. But the good news is on the bottom of the hood I do have a mirror, a plexiglass mirror that I've always used. I'm going to put that back, so even if this kind of doesn't look perfect underneath the hood, it's going to look fine because I'm going to have a mirror. So what I plan on doing today is I'm going to take care of the alignment of this fender at the door. I did plan on doing both sides in this one video, but because of that compressor, I have literally lost 3 hours today just for that. So now I'm going to just do that. Let me show you. All right, so let's take a look at this driver's side fender. So I've been playing with it a little bit, trying to get it to where it's close. And I've got the top aligned with the door. So that looks good. And then it aligns pretty decently here in plane. But then as you start coming down, you can see it starts to jump out. And it jumps way out here. And it's high, the rocker panel is higher than the edge of this fender. So way back in the very beginning of my channel, maybe even episode 4 might have been a little patch here. And I was learning a new welding machine, which is not the same welding machine I have now. It was a Harbor Freight welding machine that I broke. I now have a Hobart that I've been using, but this I know dips in. It dips in right here. See, this is kind of on an angle there, and then this is sticking out. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll split this all the way to here. I'll split it. I'll peel this layer back down to that, weld it, and then we'll be able to straighten this out. But one of the reasons why this doesn't align is because when I did this patch, I did it to the original door, I did it to the original rocker panel. I've replaced the rocker panel and I've replaced the store panel. So now this is all in a completely different alignment than what we started with. And this might have matched Christine when I started the project, but it doesn't match it now. So I need to go back and adjust that. But that's not going to take very long. So let's get to welding. We'll get it done and, you know, make some progress. Here we go. Well, a bit of a change in plans. So I'm marked where I'm out. I'm out about 1/8, maybe 3/16 or so, and it tapers down to here. There's a stiffener on the back of the fender that doubles up this whole thing. So that is not going to work. If I split this, I won't be able to shove that back. So what I think I need to do is probably, this is a curve, so it's stiff. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably take my grinder and I'll go right in this nape right here. I'll go right in that nape, and I've got a little bit of rust there anyway. And then what I'll do is I'll probably fold this back right here. So I might have to split it here, split it along this nape, pry it back, and then weld it in a more straight position. I think that's a little bit better. That's a little bit more surgical. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, I got it cut. I sliced it from here to here, and then I cut that all the way back to here, to right by where my mark is. And I'm gonna try to bend this over. I just need to figure out a way to do it. And I wanna make sure that when I do it, that it aligns with the door over there. All right, I just put the fender back. There's only 3 bolts holding on. I've got one at the front radiator cradle, one at the cowl, and then one underneath. So now I just mounted it back exactly where it was. I had a little tick mark where the end of the fender was. It's still lining up good here at the door. I got it with this. Needs to come out a little bit. Yeah, okay, so now I still got that piece sticking out. So now I've cut that stiffener. So I'm wondering if I can't twist this, if I can't rock this back, and I'm feeling it, and this dent is in here. So let's see what we can do with that. See if we can't get something good going here. It's guerrilla force, but it's doing it. It is doing it. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot better. love this Harbor Freight gun. Pretty inexpensive and it's very handy. Get these little 2mm studs. It grounds on its own. It's got a little induction loop here, or a little electrical circuit. It goes from the tip to this outer part, and it finds a short which is at the stud, and that's how it welds it. So now I got a group of studs on it. I'm gonna get my Stecco stud lever. I'm liking it much better though. Much better. Much more better. All right, I think I'm close enough. I got this close. This is close. This is pushed in now. I put a straight edge on it and it looks so much better. Show you that. I mean, that's getting a lot better. I can feel that in. So it looks like the rocker panel does indeed dip. It dips right in there. Okay, but I'll be able to feel that coming in here, and that's not horrible. I can fix that. But I noticed I'm like rocking to my door right here. A little tight, loose over there, loose over here, high here, which is good because I can knock this down. You can see I've got a little bit of body feel left here. So I left this when I was working the door because I knew I needed to work it into the fender, and the fender wasn't ready yet. So now I'm going to go ahead and work all this together. But what I need to do first is I need to pull this fender back off, weld that, shorten this by however much I'm left down here. It looks like I got about 1/4 of an inch to pull up. So I'll do that. I'll split this, weld that up, weld the back side up, and then we'll put it back on and start taking body filling. Okay, that's it. I shortened it. You saw I did that. I just cut it out, and it fought me a little bit, but I just built it up with weld bead. And spent some time with a dolly beating that out a little bit. The backside came out good. So it was hard to weld this because this metal is rusted on the backside, and it causes it to spit and sputter and pop, and you can't get a clean weld, but I cleaned it up as best we can. And as I love to say, nobody's gonna see this. It's all behind the car. It just needs to be solid. So, well, you know, when we do the fender, I'm gonna clean all of this up, and this will all be undercoated before I'm done. Not today, but before we mount it back in the car. So now let me put it back. I'm gonna put it back in its place, and let's see how it lines up. Got it back on the car. It all looks so much better. The rocker panel's got a little bit of dip in it. I'm gonna fill that a little bit, fair that in, leave that a little bit high. It lines up pretty good. The door's got a little bit of a hump right here. I'm gonna take that down with the file, the air file. We'll fill this in together. We'll fair it all. So let me go ahead, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the air file and I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on there and just see what I've got between one to the next, and then we'll go ahead and float some filler. This is a new. I can see it. I got a dip right here. And you know, on all these Tri-5s, I'm pretty sure when you come in, you look at the doors dive in this way, they dive in this way. It's just the way in the 1950s that they fit. But I'm so close, you know, I think I can play this. I can figure that out and it'll look straight. So, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, I don't wanna overdo it, but I certainly don't wanna underdo it. So let me go ahead and finish sanding this out, and then we'll come back with some body filler and straighten it all out. I just spent 5 minutes talking to the camera. I snapped picture instead of video. Anyway, I mixed up some Roberto Maxi fill. I went ahead and spread it. I used a 6-inch knife, 12-inch knife. Came in here, filled it. You know, it's body work, it's body filler. I was just yammering on, so we're gonna let that harden and then come back. It's a very, very hot day. It's already tacking up. So I'm gonna clean my tools and then let it sit for about 15 minutes maybe. Come back and sand it. Well, sorry about that, but my phone died and I didn't know it. So I was videoing as I was doing body fill and I was doing hyperlapse, but you've seen me do that over and over again. So it's same old stuff. Roberto Maxi film, Roberto Maxi light, sand it, 40 grit, and then hit it with 80 grit. But let me show you how we're coming out. We're not quite finished, but let me show you. So here it is. It is coming along really nicely. Really nicely. This is so much better than what it was. Now, I still haven't played my gap yet. What I need to do is I need to take the fender back off and I need to sand this filler to a nice smooth edge on the inside. Then I need to put the fender back on and then mark where I want my door to get that 3/16 inch gap, and then I can sand that. But this is how it's coming out and it's looking really good. I got one issue right here, got high spots here that I keep dinging in. I keep denting them in, and I'm sneaking up on it, but I've got a little bit more left. Plus, I've got one more trick up my sleeve. I went and picked up some polyester primer. So we're about getting ready to deck this thing, to block it, and I'm gonna use polyester primer to do that. And the one that I got is Evercoat, and it's a color shifting, so when you spray it, it's supposedly pink, and then when you sand it, it turns gray where you hit it. So it's a guide coat built into it. So we're gonna try that out pretty soon. Anyway, but that's gonna do it for this episode. Do appreciate you sticking with me. Appreciate you watching my videos, and if you're liking them, please give them a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying the channel, how about a subscription? Until I see you next time, please take care of yourself. Cheers.